excited to be here. For those of you who don't know, I'm Serena Farb. I go by Born Vegan on social media, and I am one of the co-founders and co-organizers of the Vegan Earth Day March. And we have almost 50 cities around the world now that will be participating this weekend and holding actions from marches, rallies to outreach events. So we are really, really excited about that. And thank you to all of you. I see a lot of people who have been organizing events in here. So thank you so much for making this happen. It's so exciting to see everyone from all over the world coming together. And, you know, as some of you know, we have three demands with the Vegan Earth Day March. And one of those is the plant-based treaty. So that is our big, systemic and institutional demand. And that's what we'll be talking about today. But for now, I will pass it over to Chelsea, my other co-organizer.
Hi, everybody. Chelsea Davis here. Also go by Veggies Do It Better. I am the co-founder along with Serena of the Vegan Earth Day March, which, like she said, is happening in just 4 days. We're very excited for this. And we're really happy to have this training today on the plant-based treaty, just so everybody gets a better idea of what the treaty is and how you can best effectively talk to others about it during our outreach during your Vegan Earth Day event. We also are planning on doing a training that's specifically on lobbying. So for those that are more interested or also interested in talking to your local legislatures, your governments, institutions, schools about adopting the plant-based treaty, that will be coming up very soon. So right now I'd love to introduce our three volunteers who stepped up to help us with this training today. We're so grateful to have them for this special presentation. First, we have Lea, the Europe Regional Liaison and Outreach Coordinator for the Save Movement and Plant-Based Treaty, and the organizer of the Netherlands Vegan Earth Day March. And then we have Anna from Hermosillo Animal Save, and the organizer of the Hermosillo Mexico Vegan Earth Day March, and then Cesar from Animal Alliance Network and one of the organizers of the Los Angeles Vegan Earth Day March and Rally. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for the introduction. I will share my screen. Very excited for Earth Day and also the opportunity presents for the plant-based treaty. Can everybody see my screen? Is it, can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, this presentation is to give you an introduction of the plant-based treaty, what it is, and also plant-based treaty 1.5, which we rolled out this year actually. And it will also go into how do you do outreach and what can you do with the different outreach? What options do you have to do outreach? One thing that's really important about the plant-based treaty is that it's really positive and solution-based. As you can see in the pictures, we really try to provide some positivity and a solution. As animal rights activists, we usually see a lot of suffering and we always present a problem. And with the plant-based treaty, we really want to come with a solution and, as you see here, offer something to the public. And we'll talk later about what you can do, but it's sort of to lead in the presentation. Why do we need a plant-based treaty? The science is really on our side. We're really going to dive into a little bit of that more. Plant-based treaty is really easy for politicians to act upon because it gives a lot of options to implement. And besides individual change that we have been focusing on within the Save movement with our outreach, with trying to reach people through vigils, we really need system change. I think we are aware that we really don't have any more time, so we really need this system to change. And plant-based treaty, provides like a tool to do that. the key findings of the 6th IPCC report, which is a report that scientists put out to talk about how the Earth is doing. And it really stated that it's code red for humanity. Those were the exact words that were mentioned in the report. The way we are going now, we will reach 1.5 degrees by 2030 and 2 degrees by 2040. With those with that heating up the planet, ecosystems will actually collapse. Floodings will happen. I think we see that already happening around us. Even in the Netherlands, where we don't have like extreme weather, we had floodings. My co-organizers have the same things with extreme heatings, and it's really noticeable. Another thing is that there's really a methane emergency. So the levels of methane that we get by animal agriculture are really rising, and it's really destroying the planet. And all 3 of the greenhouse gas emissions are accelerating really fast. I'm not a scientist, so really diving into the scientist is not really, we have a lot of information about this on our website, but these are things that you can really mention in your outreach of why we are here to talk about the plant-based treaty, and they're quite easy to remember or make a little card of, if you like. So the plant-based treaty has actually 3 core principles. It's relinquish, redirect, and restore. And I'm going to mention them all separately. So relinquish is actually to prevent climate crisis getting worse. And it focuses really on animal agriculture as the cause of it. So we want no further deforestations, no new animal farms, no new slaughterhouses, no new fishing vessels. So it's really easy demand, actually not making the problem any worse from here. Redirect. So we're asking governments to shift towards a more plant-based food system. And we want to do that by shifting subsidies, taxes, you can think of a meat tax, or like cutting taxes on fruits and vegetables, for instance, public information campaigns, and regulations. And then the third demand is to restore, and it's really to give back nature to the earth. So building new forests, replanting mangroves, and returning lands to indigenous people, create organic community gardens and orchards. This is the last step, of course, of our 3 demands. But it's really good to think of the fact that we really want to restore the earth. So we not only want to stop the problem, but we also want to make it better. Obviously, this is like a very short way of explaining the 3 R's. It's the website of the plant-based treaty really explains it well. So it gives you all types of examples of how this looks like in practice, and we're going to touch on it a little bit later as well. With that, so it's really before we had when we launched the plant-based treaty, we were asking cities, people, businesses, and other NGOs to sign the plant-based treaty, but it didn't really mean anything. It was more of a symbolic signing that you agreed with it. And this year we launched the plant-based treaty 1.5. With the plant-based treaty 1.5, we are actually already trying to implement those systemic changes. So we're not, for instance, asking a city to endorse it, but we're asking the city to actually make changes. So we want to increase the accessibility to plant-based foods. We want to do that at councils, at schools and universities, at hospitals, care homes, prisons, public events, businesses, restaurants. And the good part of this is that you can make the steps as big or as small as you like. So instead of asking people, for instance, to go fully vegan, which is hard for a lot of people, we're asking a business to increase the options, the vegan options, or we're asking a council to have one vegan day and then work our way up from there. And it really allows our participants, our activists, to really negotiate with all the different institutions about a step forward. And I'm gonna go to the next slide. One of the really cool things that happened recently was the 7 Fields Kindercare in Pennsylvania. They announced Vegan Wednesday for all children. So that means every Wednesday, everything is vegan. And I thought they had like, maybe somebody can help in the chat, but I think it was about more than 10,000 daycare centers around the United States. So if you can count a little bit on how many vegan meals that is, you're really making an impact, and you're really decreasing the amount of animal products that are being used. The same goes for the oat milk that is now default at the University of Birmingham. Imagine all the students choosing plant-based milk. It's really gonna make sure that there is a decline of the demand for animal products. And I think a lot of activists, we worked really hard for years. I've been an activist for myself for 6 years. And in those 6 years, I only saw the demand go up. So I saw more meat being consumed, and I saw the numbers of slaughtered animals go up. So that's why we're really trying to go to institutions and ask them to make changes. And of course, once they make a change, we're going to ask for the next step. So it's a constant dialogue with institutions to ask them to really put in more steps. And by working with the politicians, we're reaching out to politicians, and the next workshop will be about lobbying. But it's really nice to see that politicians respond to this, and that they are willing to take the steps. And I think it's a really smart thing and a very cool thing to work on, to not just ask for a signature, but to ask for change. And I think a lot of us already are making successes, and every time somebody else has a success, it just gives us that spark to work on it. And now it's getting more traction. So it's also, business are a little bit competing about becoming greener. And I think it's really smart with the plant-based treaty. We're playing into that thing. And it gives you all the options that you can think of. So Anna will talk about that later. But if you have a plan, you can do it with the plant-based treaty, because it's still really grassroots. If you have an idea, if you know somebody who has a daycare center, which one of our organizers had, I think she's on the call here, it was Ellen, and she just went up to them and asked if they can do something, and it made such a big impact. So plant-based treaty 1.5 is something that we really love to work on. And I am going to give the words to Cesar, who's going to talk a little bit more about outreach on the streets on Earth Day. I don't know how we want to do it, if we want to leave the questions to the end or do it right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's amazing. And biggest shout out to each and every one of you for being here right now and spending your time with us. And shout out to Ellen Dent, who's on the call, co-director at Animal Alliance Network. She really lobbied to get Los Angeles to endorse, so it is possible. I mean, if you can get LA, it's possible anywhere. And as well as the KinderCare, shout out to her. and baby girl Aria for, you know, it's amazing to, you know, get the kinder care and the energy there and the momentum. Yeah, so we're really excited, and really you can share this with everyone. So while we're on the march or the rallies or whatever it may be, you may be doing for the day, you can talk with people, you know, who have stopped and engage with them. If they walk away, you know, just kind of let them go, you know, because usually the people who give you their attention, they're the ones that are going to be the ones that really take the seeds, you know, because we want to plant seeds everywhere. That's what it's all about, because eventually they're going to grow and blossom. So and we always want to keep it nice and positive. That's the beautiful thing about plant-based treaties. It has all the underlinings there, but we're able to enter the room with climate change and things of that nature. Yeah, so really you can pass it along, and just, it's going to be a positive day. So we're out there, you know, positively. So we're very excited about that, and I hope everyone here is. And let me see the next slide here. So with the communication, you want to use love-based communication, so nice and positive, and, you know, open questions to help engage people. That, you know, you can ask them where they're coming from. The Socratic method is beautiful because you're really letting them talk by asking them questions. You know, we can go more into detail about that, but, you know, it's like, you know, what do you think about eating more plants to save the planet? You know, and they're like, well, I think I want to save the planet, eat more plants. You know, simple things like that can really go very far. And the ripple, when you throw like a pebble in the pond, it can ripple far and create waves. So you really don't want to judge or criticize people, because you want to keep it nice and positive. You know, we all started somewhere. You know, most of us were not born vegan, but, you know, some of us are, so that's awesome. But everybody has their journey, so we're here to support and, you know, plant the seeds and give the knowledge and empower people. Body language is always very important. You know, whether you're standing at a table or marching with a sign or a flag, I tell people, you know, you always want to stand nice and tall, as if the camera is going to take a photo of you, because that energy really reflects. Because if you're just kind of like dragging your feet, or you're you know, maybe not smiling. Smiles are free, by the way, but it really goes a long way, you know. So you really want to share that body language and that energy, because that's the beginning. Before you even open your mouth or engage at all, your body language and your vibe is there already. Personal stories are always a great touch, you know, like, because they're genuine, and, you know, the passion's there, and it's something you experience, you know, something that lots of people start experiencing throughout their journey. You can give people, if you have any of the pamphlets, they're amazing. The starter kits, they have so much great information in there that the plant-based treaty team has put together and distributed at multiple places. If you're not able to get a hold of some, or if you're trying to keep it low paper for the day or whatnot, you can always use the QR code. So if you just print the QR code on a paper and have people, you know, I'm pretty sure like 99% of people have a cell phone in their pocket, and they can hit that QR code, and then they have the kit in their phone, and they can also share it. You know, they can send it to people, like, say, here, take the kit, send it to 10 people, send it to your family and friends. This can change people's lives. You know, this can change the planet's lives. It could change all these beings' lives. It could change your family and friends' lives. So it's really awesome. So yeah, you just really want to plant all the seeds and keep it positive, and, you know, don't let, if some people are like, don't let it knock you down, because, you know, you're going to talk to 3, 4, 5 more people, and, you know, the seeds are going to go somewhere. If it's not that day, they're there, so they're going to sprout one day. So yes, and we're just going to move here, but we're really excited. I hope everybody's excited.
So sorry to interrupt before you go, but we have an outreach guide that really goes into detail on how you can do outreach, but also where you can find all the materials for flyers and all resources that you need. We can put the link in the chat, but it's really specific on how you should start and what you can do, where you find all videos about the plant-based treaty or about animal agriculture, or so yeah, please have a look at it if you want to go into more detail about the outreach And then I'm sorry, I'm going to give it back to Cesar again.
Yeah, there's really so many resources that have been produced by the team for this, and whether it's, you know, to lobby or to, you know, get the schools, individuals, it's all there. So, and if it's not, it's being made as we speak. And you really want to pay attention to your language, you know, non-specious language, it, she, he, they, you know, meat, animal flesh. Lots of the time, livestock gets thrown out there, captive animals, fur, leather, you know, it's animal skin. So it's really important to put the power within the words and the language that you use. And there's multiple ways that you can do it. As you see here, there's a virtual reality footage, which, you know, really literally gives people the imagery of it all. Seed giveaway is exciting. Every time I hand out some seeds, or I think any of us have, people get excited, like, oh, I'm going to go plant this. And, you know, typically it's kale, and kale is supposed to be pretty easy to grow. So hopefully every time they go and water their plant, they're thinking about plant-based treaty and how they can begin growing. Sampling, whenever you get the palate of people, it's amazing, because people, like, you eat every day of your life, you know, and to show people that they can still have the flavor and the texture or whatever it may be, they can still have everything that they're used to, just have it plant-based. So it's really awesome if you're able to get, you know, samples from a restaurant, or reach out to a business, or somebody bake some cookies, or you know, get us some cheese and crackers, whatever it may be. We did chocolate dipped strawberries for Valentine's Day, so we kind of had the theme there. But it's really awesome. And then again, there's the flyers and leaflets. They're really great. I mean, these starter kits have so much intensive information in there. It's like all in one package. And you can always go online and get them as well, the digital version. And again, here's, like, you know, companies, a lot of the time they'll sponsor, you know, they want to promote their product. They want their product to be tested and tasted, and people to, you know, become familiar with their product. So here you have some Oatly, and you got the signage and everything. So, you know, you just make it fun and energetic, you know, hey, try this, and it's free. The magic word, people love that word, free. But yeah, so it's really awesome. You can reach out to local businesses, some of the larger companies, or, you know, you can make something yourself. So and then I think I'm going to pass it on to Anna here, and she's going to take it over from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Cesar. Yeah, well, the plant-based treaty endorsers, this is how all of this amazing campaign start. So during outreach, when you see that people, it's a great to think about change their diet, but also they get excited and want to do more than individual change and take action. So what can you say to them? So one of the most important action is to endorse the plant-based treaty, because when you have an initiative for a big change, in this case, you can say, like, oh, it's just not me. We are thousands, or we are millions of people who are agreed with this change. So it make it more powerful when the lobbying, for example, when you have to talk with politicians or not-profit organization, business, or even with people, like when you invite them to endorse. It's very important, and also it's very easy to do it. They'll here in the chat, you can get the link to have the QR code, and that QR code go directly to the link to endorse, and also you can download and have it in your cell phone, so they can do it directly in your cell phone. And ask to people, like, oh, if you like this campaign, you can share this QR code and invite more people to take a look in the website and endorse the plant-based treaty. And next slide, please. So, well, other ways to take actions. asked people to follow the Plant-Based Treaty social media, because it's an amazing way to share more information so they can receive more information related to climate crisis and animal agriculture, and also the new campaigns to sign, and that will be very helpful to get more people share and sign the campaigns. And as Lea mentioned before, part of the Plant-Based Treaty 1.5 is the institutional change, and part of this institutional change are the government. So part of the campaign is the city campaign with an email action that, so it's in the website of Plant-Based Treaty and has been shared in the social media, and you ask people to send an email letter to consulars, mayors of different countries and cities, asking them in a letter to endorse the Plant-Based Treaty and the information about the climate crisis that we are living now. So, and also you can see in the website, if your city it's not there, you can find an open letter that you can translate and send to your city accounts, city councils. And another thing that you can do when you are doing an outreach, you can recruit people to your group, and also to encourage them to start a Plant-Based Treaty team. In the website, there is an option to start a team, and also, well, you can find an amazing organizer's guide that there is in the website. And another slide, please. So, yeah, you can see in here, we want to share some photos of the amazing groups. There's just a few events that organizers around the world have been doing for this last years. So you can invite people like to do different kind of outreach related that what can you do with you if you are a small group, or you are a big group, or you have like a restaurant or a kitchen that you can do a plant-based cooking class. Yeah, it's never stop. Like you can do a lot of things. For example, there is a photo in Guadalajara in Mexico. They do bike riding with the signs of the Plant-Based Treaty, and also they have cards, flyers, and giving plant-based food to give people during the bike riding. And in Turkey, they organize a Plant-Based Treaty cooking class. I remember that was for vegan yogurt. And in another photo, there is in Montevideo in Uruguay. There is an outreach table. As you can see, they have all the information, the guides. It's very important to give people materials. So as Cesar say, like they can have a positive experience when they go back home, and it's for free. Like you can, in the guide, you can see like different meals that you can prepare for a whole week, and more nutritional information. And well, in other photos, there is a community garden to plant vegetables. There is another one with the seeds giveaway. There is a photo in Flagstaff in the US. So a team go to a concert, and they put a table and ask people to endorse the Plant-Based Treaty, talk about the climate crisis and animal agriculture. And well, yeah, this is some of the amazing actions. And next. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining for these presentations. I'll pass the voice to Sarina or Chelsea. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna and Lea and Cesar. Really appreciated that, and we'll open it up to questions here in a minute. But I just wanted to add in that there's so many possibilities with whatever event you're planning this weekend for Earth Day, whether that's an outreach event and you're doing something like this, or incorporating a food giveaway or seed giveaway into what you're doing, or whether you're planning a march and maybe have some speak outs, or are planning to like march to a local city government building. That's a really great opportunity to incorporate into your speech the plant-based treaty, calling on your local government to endorse it, or local politicians. There's, so many opportunities, and we'd really encourage you to take all the suggestions you just heard and figure out how to incorporate them into your event this weekend. So questions about anything, and you can put them in the chat, and Chelsea and I can look for them, or you can use the hand raising signal and come on and ask the question as well.
I have a question about giveaways. Like with an event in Austin where they're saying there could be up to 1,000 people, like I can't even wrap my head around like how many of, let's say, seed packs to order, or especially if you're talking about food and tasting food. I mean, that it seems like that would require a really high budget to do that. And do you have any experience with that? And how you calculate how much to order, or that kind of thing?
So I'll hand it over. Go.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to answer it now, or
with the seeds? I mean, if you get them on bulk, and you just get the little manila envelopes, and you you probably can't get a stamp now, but we usually typically, the Adrian has right there, we'll stamp it with the plant-based treaty logo, and then the back has like little tips of how to grow it in the website. So with for future reference, you get like a pretty good sized bag of seeds, and you just get a spoon and put like 5 seeds in there, and that goes pretty far, and people get excited for them. As far as food, sometimes you just have to make the sample smaller, but Lea, that's where I want to go, is where Lea's at, because they got the food truck, and they're gonna have the amazing food over there. But
Well, and it might be difficult with 4 days out, but in general, I've done a lot of food samplings in the past. And if you're in an event where there might be 1,000 people, not everyone is going to take your food sample, or you can kind of estimate like, oh, if there's 1,000 people, like maybe we'll give out a couple hundred samples or something like that. But even with that, that's a really great opportunity to reach out to food companies and see, like, are there people who are willing to donate samples or bring their food truck? And then you just cut things up pretty small. I used to do a lot with the Dea cheesecakes when they first came out, which are already pretty small, but we would cut them into like little tiny squares on toothpicks. And then you can, get like 30 samples out of one cheesecake. So there's a lot of things like that, pieces, little cubes of vegan cheese, or there's a lot of ways to get samples to go really far, either by purchasing things or getting donations as well. So it's not quite as, I know it can sound really daunting, but there's a lot of to reach a lot of people at a big event like that. And
sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, and then Adrian has her hand.
No, the plant-based treaty also provides funding for new chapters. If you're very active chapter, we can really help with that. Maybe Adrian can say something about that as well. But for instance, the Oatly that you saw somewhere in the presentation, I think we got 1,200 cans from Oatly. So if you really have a good idea, just put it in writing to a company or get in touch with us, because maybe we have a contact for you. We'd love to help with getting samples for plant-based treaty events. So I'll pass it to Adrian.
Yeah, no, that's a really great question, because it is hard to tell how many people will be there and how many people you'll be doing outreach to. So we're actually in Toronto mixing it up a little bit. So we're going to have seed packets that we're giving away. We're giving away coupons. We've partnered with a local, well, it's not local, it's actually going national, vegan fast food restaurant. And they've given us coupons to give out. We're going to be giving away flyers. We did purchase some vegan cookies from Sweets from the Earth. They're prepackaged cookies, and we're going to be doing kind of a moving outreach. So some people will get, the seeds. Some people will, when we have conversations with them, we'll give them some of the outreach materials. Some people will get cookies. So it's not going to go in one big shot. It's going to be more gradual. So it will be more manageable than it sounds. So I think it will go a long way, and you can base your conversations, your outreach based on your conversations. So if someone's really into it, you can give them that vegan cookie and, a starter kit. But what Cesar said, as far as getting the seeds in bulk, fabulous idea, because you can purchase, I purchased, over 110,000 kale seeds for less than 40 Canadian dollars. These ones here, these envelopes are, we purchased them in bulk as well. So if you do that, there's definitely, it can go a long way. And what Lea had mentioned about the plant-based treaty teams, we do have meetings every Friday, information sessions, if you're looking to get more active and get supplies from plant-based treaty, where we actually have a lot of this produced, a lot of these bulk envelopes. Obviously for this event, it might be a little bit tight for timing, but moving forward, you're encouraged to join us for that 10 a.m. EST and 2 p.m. EST every single Friday. It's just a drop in when you're available, ask questions, learn more about it. And I can put my email in the chat. If you're interested, I can send you the Zoom link. So I'll go ahead and do that. Feel free to please email me. And we'd love to see you there to grow this, activism for the plant-based treaty even further than Earth Day. I think this is going to be a great springboard where we can actually move forward with Vegan Earth Day all year long. So I'll put my email in the chat.
Love that. Thank you so much, Adrian. I was going to add too, if people do have a little bit of a budget for food, to go to discount stores. So like in the United States, we have Grocery Outlet, and on the West Coast, and I think some on the East Coast, and then Aldi's on the East Coast. And you can go and you can find stuff very inexpensive. And like Serena was saying, chop it up really small, put it in toothpicks. Another thing that I've done is I won't give out food until the person has completed the action. So if I only have a certain amount of like last year I did a vegan latte giveaway with the Starbucks campaign for them to drop their surcharge. And we only had like 30 of them. It was the Rise lattes. And so we would be like, would you like a free latte? And then people say, yes. Okay, great. First, it would be great if you could text this number and email. So that's another option. If you have limited amount of things and you have a clear action, like, would you please endorse the plant-based treaty? It's kind of like the pay-per-view thing. So they do an action and then they get a reward. So that's another idea. Lucy, did you have a question?
So I'm gonna table at an Earth Day event with other stands, and I received my banner, and they told me I can actually hang a banner, and the banner is like animal agriculture is killing us, which is badass, by the way. And I'm gonna use it for the march later, but I was wondering if for tabling it would be a good idea, since they're like fishing stands. Like I'm kind of torn, because it's like a strong stance. It's a good way to have a strong message there. But also, is it gonna make people too worried to come up to us? Like, what do you think?
It really depends on your audience and situation. I've found different things work differently. But food is the most enticing thing from what I've experienced over messaging. Like, people will see free food and they'll want to try it or be interested. But yeah, I mean, that's a good point to consider. The banner is probably more targeted for the front of a march. So if that doesn't seem like a good fit and you think that might deter people, then don't feel like you have to hang the banner up for your tabling too, and you could just wait and use it for the march portion of your event.
Thank you.
Namaste, everyone. It's more of a suggestion versus a question, because we're talking about the food sampling and stuff of that nature, and it coincides with what Leah was talking about earlier as far as seeing a decrease in things. So in our community, I had hosted the first ever vegan dinner at the Crisis Prevention Center, and I encourage you guys to try that in your own places, you know, to keep Vegan Earth Day going, right? To just contact them, and even if it's just to see if whether or not they'll incorporate a vegan day of food, and if not, allow you to host it, because while you're hosting it, then you can also do some outreach as well. And you know, I just wanted to, it's, you know, when I did that, I pretty much, I had like very little volunteering, but I was like, hey, if I have to starve for the next month, you know, for one day for these animals to not be killed, I'm off for that. So thank you everybody for sharing all of the different suggestions for the march. I wasn't even thinking about, you know, different things other than the literature to share with everybody. But I'm so happy to know about doing the QR stuff, because that's another thing as far as, you know, the Vegan Earth Day of us, you know, also being sustainable in our actions, right? So thank you all for sharing those ideas. I appreciate that.
In that. Anna, do you have a question or a comment?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I have two comments. One, it's about the first question, like how to, like for the food. Besides about to have sponsors, something that we did, we used to have like food giveaways like 2 times per month. So the people donate, like we recruit volunteers and the people donate food. So that's why another way that we can, if we don't have like a big budget, we can ask the volunteers to care some vegan food. And about what Lucia, did I say correctly? Yeah, I was thinking the same as you, because yeah, we are going to have a table. So we are going to put the banner in the table, and I was thinking the same question as you, but we are going to give people food. So we were thinking like to have a positive message in the table, like if you want like free vegan food or something like this, and maybe the people will join the table.
Awesome, thank you. And Chris, go ahead. Oh.
Hey, I just had a question in the chat. I'm not sure if someone answered it already, but near the start of this Zoom, there was something about lobbying training later, or like contacting government reps. Where can I get more information about that, or when is that coming out? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Thank you so much for asking. So we will be doing a separate training we'll go over the intro of the plant-based treaty again, and then go more into lobbying, like you were saying, specifically how to talk to institutions, governments, businesses around you. That should be coming up within the next couple of weeks. We wanted to do it after the march, so everybody is excited about it, and then we have a bigger audience for it and we can gain more momentum. So you can just follow us at Vegan Earth Day March on Instagram or Facebook, and it'll be popping up very soon.
Super, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And then Serena, did you see the question in the chat for Mariana? I don't know if you want to chat about that.
Yeah, so why do the majority of climate environmentalists don't address animal agriculture? Why is it about recycling, reducing? Yeah, I mean, that's a big question. There's a lot of reasons. I think a lot of it comes down to that there's a lot of emotional and social attachment around the food that we eat. And so talking about animal agriculture makes a lot of people uncomfortable and requires them to more dramatically change their habits and behaviors than a lot of other environmental changes or things do. So it's a lot easier to like call on industries to reduce fossil fuel emissions. It's a lot easier to focus on these other changes and not look at, you know, the way our choices are impacting things. But that's why we're here with the Vegan Earth Day March and why we want both. We need all the change. We need the systemic, we need the individual, we need the institutional. It's all a piece of it, and everyone has to stand up and do their part. It can't just be pointing fingers and saying, oh, we want you to change over there, but I'm not going to change what I'm doing. But we also recognize that the systems and policies in place are very unfairly propping up and artificially, you know, elevating the dairy industry, the animal agriculture, the meat industries, and giving them, like, they have huge lobbying power. They have skewed our food and agriculture and subsidy systems through the Farm Bill, through our school lunch programs here in the US, at least. There's just so many things that have promoted animal products and are not elevating the cheap, healthy, sustainable plant-based foods. So we need to change it all. And that's what we're here doing with the Plant-Based Treaty and the Vegan Earth Day March. We need all the change we can get from all sides.
Do we have any other questions or comments? Got like 5 more minutes if anybody wants to share anything or ideas.
Or if you have questions about organizing for this weekend too, we can answer some of those as well. Lucy.
I just have a really quick tip that we're gonna do, and I think it's a good idea, having costumes during the march, or like we have veggie costumes, and I think that's pretty cool to get attention.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a great idea. I dressed up as a cow, well, as like a handmaid in a cow costume a couple years ago at an animal rights march. It's a good conversation starter too.
Lea.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to touch on something that Yogi Chin said earlier, and that is that with the plant-based treaty, the actions that we do are really a form of sustainable activism. I think some people that have been in animal rights for a longer period of time, we see people come and go. And I think we put ourselves to trauma all the time because of the actions that we do, the vigils, all the footage that we see. And if you switch that up with something that is positive and that people, like, you don't get the backlash that you get from showing footage on the street. And I'm not saying that we should not do that, because I think everything is important. But for me, it was like a lifesaver to be out on the streets and to have people be actually happy that I was there, and to say like, oh, I love how this tastes, and oh yeah, now you say it doesn't really make any sense that we kill a cow for this, so that's something that I wanted to give also, that you can really be happy doing activism when you bring something positive like the plant-based treaty. So
absolutely love that.
I think it's also really helpful to have an actionable item that you're giving people, and you're seeing like the results, and you're seeing that schools are endorsing and they're making changes, and governments are endorsing and they're making changes, and like seeing that legislative action happen right before your eyes is so powerful. And that's really how we're going to make systemic change, because like I talked about this before, in Oregon, we're trying to pass a factory farm moratorium, which would mean if that passes, no more new factory farms would be able to come into Oregon, and no existing factory farms would be able to expand. And if that one piece of legislation passed, that would save way more animals than, you know, going out on the streets and doing video outreach. And like you're saying, Lea, like that type of outreach is still very important, but the systems change is really what we need. And we can do that with the plant-based treaty, which is really exciting. And that the Vegan Earth Day March is coming up in 4 days. And now we have 50 cities in 23 countries too. Like, this has grown exponentially. It's because of all of you guys. It's just amazing, all the work that everybody has put in and all the passion that everybody has. And this is as grassroots as it gets. And we've done it. We're doing it.
Yes, and I'm really excited to see what happens on Saturday and this weekend with all of you and everyone around the world, and I'm really excited to see where we can go with this moving forward. Like, I think there's so much potential, particularly in small cities and towns, where you can even have like a single city council person that's plant-based, or not even plant-based, they're just interested or supportive. You build a connection with that person, you start talking about the plant-based treaty with them. We could have so many like smaller cities and regions individually endorsing and taking action to shift their policies. You know, and we can use the Vegan Earth Day March to do that, particularly, you know, moving forward after we have this first year where there's momentum and awareness and people start to see so many people out in the streets all demanding the same thing. It's really exciting. And I'll say this too, this is just kind of a tip for this weekend too, like, have fun. I think it is completely, you know, like, activism doesn't all have to be doom and gloom, like Lea was saying. And I think it's really important that we have events where we enjoy ourselves too. And a march, a rally, those are a great time. You're coming together with other activists in your community. You get to chant, sing, talk to people, like, make it fun, wear the costumes, play the music, like, make it, you know, and that attracts more people. Like, other people see that we're enjoying ourselves, they want to join us. Other activists are like, hey, this is a cool, supportive community. Like, we want to join this. And that is a really, I think, really important way to approach things. So, like, have fun this weekend.
And take lots of video.
Yes.
Take video and photos, and yeah, so we can use it throughout the year and next year to continually, like Serena was saying, to continue that momentum and get people excited to join our community. So I just threw in the chat information for our final city organizer check-in, which will be tomorrow at 12 Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 UTC. So that's Wednesday, April 19th. It's the same Zoom line. Hopefully we don't get bombed again. Always keeping us on our toes, this technology. So yeah, thank you, everybody. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Serena or I. It's just our names, Chelsea at veganearthdaymarch.org and Serena at veganearthdaymarch.org, or on social media. And yeah, thank you again. Thank you to our speakers so much for sharing all of your wisdom, and Adrian for being here as well. And this was really great to learn more about the treaty and just how easy it is to talk to people about it and spread the word. So, all right, see everybody later. Have a great rest of your day.